Hey everybody, welcome to day 51, where we are going to be talking about some commonly misused words and how to use them properly. So if you haven't hit that subscribe button below, go ahead and click it now, and whatever it is you're drinking today, grab a cup, cozy up, and let's get to writing. So today I just want to go straight down the list of some of the words that I see confused most often with writers. This is of course not a list of every single mistake a writer could ever make, but these are some of the ones that I see most often. So we'll start with the difference between flushing out and fleshing out, because this is something writers say on a frequent basis, and it's a little embarrassing if you're using the wrong one. So fleshing out is the one that we want to use when we're describing how it is that we're making our characters fuller people. Fleshing out is like coming up with better details and more substance that goes towards the description of something. Flushing out is what you would do when you're bird hunting. So that's when the dog runs forward and scares the birds out of the bushes and you pull out your camera and you snap a really quick picture of it. That would be flushing out. Affect with an A and effect with an E, although we say them exactly the same, are actually very tricky because they are almost interchangeable in a couple different situations, but not quite. Now, the easiest way to look at this would be that affect with an A is always going to be a verb. So if I say that not getting a full night's sleep will affect the way we write the next day, that is a verb because the lack of sleep is affecting us. It is doing something. Whereas effect with an E is usually a noun. And we would say something like, I'm suffering from the effects of sleep deprivation. Because in that context, it is a thing, we are suffering from the effects, that is something that we're suffering from, then it is effect with an E. But if I change that sentence just a little bit and said that the lack of sleep is affecting me, it goes back to being effect with an A. And to make this even more tricky, effect with an E can sometimes be a verb too. So this would be like if we want to effect change. This is to accomplish or influence. That is the only time that effect with an E is used instead of affect with an A if we're using verbs. Complement and complement are a little bit easier. Complement with an E is when two characters complement each other really well because they go well together. Whereas compliment with an I is praise that you give to somebody, saying you are really beautiful, and you guys are. The next one is conscience and conscious. So your conscience is this angel on your shoulder that tells you the right thing to do, whereas you're conscious when you're awake. So to say that I am conscious means that I am not unconscious. Whereas if I say that I have a conscience, then that is that little angel on my shoulder telling me the right thing to do. It's the voice in your head. It's your sense of right and wrong. Can you be conscious and have a conscience? Absolutely. Can you be unconscious and have a conscience? That'd be a little harder. The next one is more of a spelling issue than anything because we say these words differently. I just think that a lot of people don't spell them correctly, and that is lose and loose. Lose is L-O-S-E. That means that you have lost something. You like to lose things, whereas loose means not tight. So loosen up, and do not use two O's in the word lose, please. The next one makes almost no sense at all, but here it goes, and it is lead, led, and led. So to lead is L-E-A-D, let me, you're the leader. If you led in the past tense, that is L-E-D, and I see this confused a lot because the metal version of lead, as in like lead poisoning, is also L-E-A-D. So to lead is L-E-A-D, lead, the past tense of lead is L-E-D, and the metal version of lead is L-E-A-D again. Now the next one is who and that, and I promise you, once you start hearing this and hearing that it's wrong, you will hear this everywhere. Everybody misuses this, and it makes me just a little bit crazy. I do have to show a little bit of self-restraint to not grab people and tell them that they are doing this incorrectly because I see it all the time. And in this context, I'm using this in the sense of when we're referring to something earlier in the sentence. So when you are referring to something that you have already used in the sentence using the word either that or who, you can use that if it's an object, but you have to use who if it's a person. So in the sentence, oh, those were just the things that were in my way. The word that is referring to the things that were in the way. So those are objects, so that is correct. But in the sentence, why is she the one who's getting all the sales? Who is referring to she. It has to be who because she is a person. Now you will hear this all the time that people would think the sentence is correct if it says, why is she the one that's getting all the sales? This may or may not trigger an alarm in your brain that says, ooh, grammatically incorrect. It does for me. So if I heard somebody say, he's the person that's in charge, that is incorrect because it would need to be he's the person who's in charge. So our last two words on the list are going to be it's with an apostrophe and it's without an apostrophe, which I actually believe are two of the silliest rules in the whole English language, because this is the one word in all of English that is not allowed to show possession with an apostrophe. Any other time that you are trying to show possession, so that's Halie's book, you would say Halie apostrophe S, because the apostrophe shows possession. But in the word its, we are only allowed to use an apostrophe if it's a contraction. So in that previous sentence, if it's a contraction, that is a contraction of it is. So if you are trying to say the words it is condensed into its, then you use the apostrophe. But if you are showing possession, so if I'm talking about the kitten and its favorite toy, I now can no longer use the apostrophe. Every other word in the English language gets an apostrophe for showing possession except for its. So if you already knew all of those, fantastic job. You are doing great in the world of English. If I taught you a thing or two, then that is awesome too, and you can incorporate that into your writing as you go forward. It's all about hitting that word count right now. So with today being day 51, we should have been at 33,340 yesterday. I wrote 1,464 for a total of 33,711. So I'm gonna jump off and try to hit my word count for today again, and then I will see you guys tomorrow for day 52 of the 60-day novel writing challenge.